I don't know if you guys can figure it out yet, but I have ADD, and so do both of my kids. Yeah, and so does that person right there.
Oh, it's the latest thing, it's coming everywhere. And if you do not have it, then you're completely square. Anyone can get it, it's absolutely free. It's fun for you and me, and they call it A.D.D. A.D.D, you gotta love it. Everybody has a little of it. It doesn't mean you are a bad person, but it might be bad if you're a surgeon. I'm now cutting into the abdominal cavity. I think I have a cavity. My tooth is killing me. My cousin's a dentist. My uncle's a vegetarian.
A.D.H.D is no
I like
gift.
asparagus. Sometimes it makes my pee smell funny, though. Why am I holding a liver? A.D.D, A.D.D. It's not as bad as leprosy. It is nothing to lament.
And then there's the
Unless
fact
you
that
are
Ritalin
the
and
president.
Adderall can be addictive.
My fellow Americans, the Japanese have attacked Pearl Harbor. I have an aunt named Pearl. She bought me comic books. I like.
So, what is ADD and the symptoms? Well, ADD disrupts the processing of the information in the brain, apparently.
Attention deficit. Yeah, it's got a short attention span.
Well, seriously, without mentioning Riley's name, Riley.
Well, ADD is probably another doctor's diagnosis, I suppose. That's what it stands for, isn't it?
Attention deficit disorder. That means you have a disorder where you cannot pay attention to whatever this disorder claims to be.
A.D.H.D, Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, is one of the most common mental disorders that develop in children.
I believe some of the symptoms are...
Pretty much me or anyone else that's been filmed or around, because if you look it up and read the list of symptoms, everybody's got some of them.
Inability to focus.
Might be kids being a little bit jumpy and, you know, can't put their mind or focused on one thing.
Difficulty, you know, organising, you know, yourself and general day-to-day activities.
Yeah, just basically being shit of a kid. You know, that's what all the parents put it down to, but...
Children with difficulty of learning, fidgeting, and also like being very disruptive in class.
He couldn't sit still. Hang on.
Hyperactivity. Pretty much every child has the symptom of hyperactivity once exposed to sugars.
This is a very serious disorder. This is not some trivial little fly-by-night disorder. And also, to emphasize something that I don't think is emphasized enough, especially by other advocates, ADHD is no gift.
How do they treat ADD with medication and the side effect?
I'm on the drug, I'm on the drug, I'm on the drug to kill River Phoenix, I'm on the drug, I'm on the drug, I'm on the drug to kill River Phoenix.
Medication, I know they use that Ritalin and shit like that.
I don't know too much about it, but from what you boys have been saying today, just Ritalin, herbs, teaspoons full of salt.
It's supposed to be like a fucking speed-induced sort of shit that gets them going, but to me, I don't know if it really works. It's, you just, you know, fueling the fire, if you ask me. You need to give them something that's gonna fucking ease them out and keep plain sailing, you know.
I'm not sure exactly on what kind of medication, but no, it can't be good because I don't like prescription drugs myself.
Yeah, the treatment is a lot of different medications, and I believe there are side effects, and within saying that, I believe that the medication subdues the individual.
They just don't hit the spot. No, they're. I think it's bad because, well, governments are controlling us basically when they prescribe kids medicines. You go to the chemist and you get these kids on these drugs, and they're done. They're hooked, but not hooked, but they're going to use that as a crutch for the rest of their fucking life, or what? You know, they're always, oh, I got ADD, that's why I did this. Oh, I got ADD because that's why I did that. As far as I think, it's bullshit. It can be treated fucking just through, you know, healthy living, probably.
That little bit of Ritalin we gave. Would you like that little bit of Ritalin we gave? Would you like that little bit of Ritalin we gave? Would you like that little bit of Ritalin we gave? Would you like that little bit of Ritalin we gave? Would you like that little bit of Ritalin we gave?
Medication, they can lock them in the room and tell them to shut up.
This is the modern epidemic, and it's as misplaced and it's as fictitious. This is the plague of ADHD. Now, this is a map of the incidence of ADHD in America, or prescriptions for ADHD. Don't mistake me here. I don't mean to say there is no such thing as attention deficit disorder. I'm not qualified to say if there is such a thing. I know that a great majority of psychologists and paediatricians think there is such a thing. But it's still a matter of debate.
Is ADD an epidemic or a problem, or misdiagnosed? I think it's misdiagnosed.
I don't know if it's misdiagnosed. I think it's overused by doctors.
Is it a problem? I think there's no education on the ADD. Is it a problem? I think the drugs and medication is the problem. They're not trying to, especially here in the West, we don't try and solve problems by looking into the future of the problem. We just medicate it.
I don't really think it's an epidemic or a problem. I think doctors are misdiagnosing kids for just being kids.
I don't think it's a problem. Everybody's got ADD. It's all good.
I think it's just people looking for a way out. It's a way out. It's an excuse, because if you do look at the symptoms and say, oh, you know, inability to finish homework, or, you know, finish work or work with others or whatever, you know, everyone has tendencies to do that kind of stuff, you know. So how can you say this person's got it, that person doesn't? Because the squeaky wheel gets the oil, you know. So if they're going to want to have it, they'll have it.
Most people who get diagnosed with ADD get stimulant medication. That's the standard of care, and that's pretty much it. When what we've found is ADD is not one thing, it's at least 6 different things, and giving everybody the same treatment makes some people better and a lot of people worse.
Is there another solution to fixing them with the medication that the pharmaceutical companies give them at the moment?
You have no solution!
Well, because in this day and age, parents don't have time to do jack shit with their kids. And when they do, you know, they just do things that the parents want to do. Kids don't want to do all the shit that, you know, parents want to do. You know, it's time for the parents to take a step back a bit. Just have a look at the kid and why they're so hypey. They're fucking bored, mate.
They're an overactive kid and they've got plenty of energy. They can put that into music or art or physical activities like rugby league or riding a motorbike or, you know, kicking ass in general is something that's better than fucking doing everything else.
If there's going to be a better solution for solving ADD, I don't think, you know, drugging our children are going to solve the problem of ADD. I think they need to have a step back and, you know, reevaluate the situation.
I don't think it's a problem whatsoever, and the solution is just fuck it. You know, fuck ADD right in the arse.
And, you know, other people are going to look after them. But then when they get home, they're all still pumped up and they go, oh shit, my kid's got ADD. No, kids are kids, mate. And that's the thing. All these doctors and parents and all the rest of it, they take the kid to the doctor and they go, oh shit, your daughter's got ADD. They're just being kids. All right, fair enough, all your colours and food dyes and all that sort of bizzo might have a little bit to do with it.
Kids in general are, you know, a lot of them are just naturally hyperactive, they're little, they're kids. It's like they're kids. They're learning their way through life, and it's up to us as adults to guide them through in a respectful way and not, chuck pills down their throat just to make them shush.
I believe maybe healthy living would be good. Maybe get them out away from the computer screens and give them a stick and a ball and a skateboard and a fucking Shanghai and go and climb a tree, because the only climbing they do is on the internet, really, isn't it? Can you Google that or what?
Study drug is kind of a term that's kind of come up over the years where students, particularly in situations where they feel like they need to cram at the last minute for a test or exam, they'll use a drug as a means of helping them to concentrate better.
Are people using kids' medication for party drugs and abusing it?
Yeah, from what I heard you talking about today, definitely you could use it.
Well, of course. If there's a drug out there, students are going to get hold of it. And they're going to cook it up, or they're going to drop it, or they're going to double the amount. They're going to do anything they can to get hold of it. After all, weren't we all in that predicament when we were younger? Fuck, I was.
Oh, that's a bit of fucking sort of cop-out shit that they even get the drugs in the first place.
Heard of it as like a party drug, yeah. But it's probably not good, I'd imagine. No drug is, really, is it?
Oh, it's wrong, really. Basically, it's a legal drug that people are using for recreational purposes.
I don't think governments and agencies really care about the abuse of the drugs as long as the drugs are getting sold and as long as maximum profits are being made by pharmaceutical companies. I don't think they care.
Any kind of drug, is obviously not good for you, regardless of whether it's legal or illegal. People just seem to think it's okay just because they can go to a doctor and, have it readily available to them.
How can you care about certain things where money is the main issue here? And I think it's all about selling the drugs and making a profit rather than solving any kind of problems.
Children with ADHD often have to deal with other complications. These include learning problems such as difficulties with reading, writing, or making calculations, and behavioral problems such as disobedience, a tendency to quarrel, and aggressive reactions. These, in turn, cause social problems, so it's harder for them to make friends, and emotional problems such as being afraid for no apparent reason or being depressed. These children can often suffer from tics. And finally, as teenagers, they are more likely to use drugs.
The kids that have got A.D.D. do drugs because of Ritalin and not succeed in life.
It's not true.
I think they're just labelling a problem, and I don't think they're solving the problem. Trying to find an easy way out.
Are they not going to succeed in life? That's a big crock of shit. They could excel like way more than most people in other aspects of life. May it be extreme sports or being a world champion boxer or being an artist or fucking solving mathematical equations, like each to their own.
I heard about when they said that kids that has ADD, they're more likely to be a bad motherfucker when they grow up, do gay porn, and not just that, also inclined to use drugs. I think that's a load of shit.
It's quite possible because it becomes a habit, you know, and we as humans are creatures of habit. So, you know, you get up, you brush your teeth, you have a shower, that's a habit. You know, that's something that you just do every day. You know, the drug taking, if you're used to that as a child, well then you're probably going to get used to that as an adult, regardless again of whether it's an illegal substance or a legal substance. You know, it's a habit.
Possibly because they've already, you know, got themselves a crutch from bloody society labelling them and medicating them. So they might turn to other things. Pingers, well, same as ADD, or who knows.
And if they break that habit, great. But it's quite possible that even if they do break that habit of pill popping, they'll probably replace it with something else, like drinking.
How many people out there that's growing up that doesn't have an ADD, that are drug addicts and junkies? So maybe it's a myth or maybe it's not a myth, but kids are inclined to do drugs when they want to do drugs because the people they hang out with and also the shit that they see on TV, wow, this is cool, I'm going to shoot up. Or, you know, things like that.
What have I got to say about ADD?
I've just got to say that governments and societies like to find a problem and then get a solution to the problem, and the solution always is money in the end.
Well, as I said at the start, it's another doctor's diagnosis, isn't it? You know, if they're going to make money on it, and the pharmaceutical companies will, all they've got to do is bring your kid in, he's a bit jumpy, a bit hypey. Kids are kids. When we're growing up, our body's growing, our brain's growing, we're intuitive. We want to know everything that's going on in the world.
And I don't think that there's enough money back to actually look into these things. I think they just want to go the easy way out and don't want to actually solve the problem down the track, just want to, you know, pass on the problem to someone else.
Yeah, alright. I've climbed a tree, thrown a rock at a train, smashed the old man's shit, stole stuff. Does that mean I've got ADD? I was hyperactive and epileptic.
Happens to be the pharmaceutical companies that are selling all the drugs to the children, and no, I don't think that's helping society, and I don't think that will come to a you know, decent conclusion with it.
I turned out alright. I can be a bit of a fuckhead at times, but hey, can't we all?
I think the real problem is a lot of families these days, the parents are basically forced to go to work. So kids are really bringing themselves up in a lot of cases. You know, if they're teenagers, you know, they're okay to look after themselves and they go home. What else is there to do? Play on a computer or...
I think it's probably bullshit, really, and people need to just be positive. Think positive, stay positive, live a healthy life, and you'll probably be alright. If you sit inside, eat shit food and play computer games, you're probably going to get depression or A.D.H.D or fucking something like that. And you're a product of your upbringing, and yeah, that's about it.
I really believe that it's a breakdown in family values. You know, it's hard for parents that have to go to work, and it's hard for kids that have to pretty much raise themselves. Yeah, it's not good.
I think, you know, the misconception of kids with ADD is just people are misdiagnosed by it, and it's easier to give them drugs to just turn into zombies and get rid of the problem.
I think it's just a gift to some people and a burden to others, and it depends on the way that people treat people with ADD on how they're going to go about their life, and if they're going to make changes to the way other people think about ADD.
Maybe they should focus, if a kid was good, as in like if he liked to do sports or art, they should focus on his artistic ability or his sports activity instead of doing boring shit like maths, English, science or whatever that they don't like. Obviously they do need some of that stuff in life.
Parents play a big key role in it too, as in such as autosuggestion and the subconscious mind. If you constantly tell your kid, you know, you're probably giving your kid too much sugar, then you're constantly telling your kid that he's hyperactive, he's naughty, and he'll never succeed in life, then those subconscious memories, of course he's not going to succeed in life, and you're going to give him a problem by constantly telling me as a problem, like telling children that they're a piece of shit their whole life. Of course they're going to grow up and be a piece of shit.
But in my summary, I think ADD, it does happen, but it also, there's a lot of misdiagnostics about it.
After hanging out with Waddy for the last 6.5 hours straight, there's nothing wrong with it. They just need to be held underwater for a couple of minutes. You know, if you let them up, they'll pull their head in after that.
Let's put on the wiggles and pop a couple Ritalin. Don't blame mama or tell her how lazy she's been. It's been prescribed by a doctor and the doctor said it ain't no.
Hi, I'm Matt Morgan with TNA Wrestling. I've accomplished a lot in the professional wrestling ring. I can wrestle, I can body slam, I can pin the best of them. But my proudest accomplishment is working to overcome my symptoms of A.D.H.D. That's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
So let's put on the wiggles and pop a couple Ritalin. Let's put on MacGyver and pop a couple Xanny bars. I don't need the college cancer to tell me